The Game Changers Incorporated presents Eric Boles.
I love inspirational speeches and messages, but I will tell you, even in my football playing days, I had a coach, and I'm not going to actually name that coach, but I had a coach who, he'd come in at halftime, he'd scream and yell, he'd try to get us fired up. And it was great, but the problem was we went out into the second half, more excited, more fired up than ever, and just made the same mistakes with more intensity. Okay. So sometimes it's not motivation that you need, it's a change of direction. Okay. Coaches, leaders in this room, we need to create an environment on the teams that we lead that eliminate the fear of failure from the equation. There's a natural fear of failure. Nobody wants to just fail. But we need to remove that fear of failure because we're going to get more of the potential that's actually in the people that we lead. Ideas that have been swimming around people's minds, but they're scared to say it out loud. Chances, conversations, all kinds of things. We're sitting on it. Everything you all need to go to the next level, you already have. It's already in your hand. I promise you, there's a wealth of potential on the teams that you lead. And the key is, how do I tap into it? One of the ways you tap into it, you got to get fear of failure out of the way. What's a practical way of doing that for you as a leader? Will you please start sharing with your team your failures? The failures that you've overcome. See, the challenge sometimes is as we grow in leadership, guess what coaches do and leaders do too often? We get amnesia. We forget about our own mistakes. We forget about all the mess ups we had. And instead of using them as learning moments for our team members, we don't share them. So then they start playing not to make a mistake. When we need people making mistakes faster, we need to fail faster. We don't need to avoid failure. We need to be failing faster than we've ever failed before, because that's the new reality we're living in. Is this making sense? We got to find ways not to increase competence, people. We got to find ways to increase the confidence of all the people we lead. Because if the confidence isn't up, you're not going to tap into all that talent that's actually there. This is another way of saying we got to spend more time getting people to believe in themselves more than anything else. We have so many leaders trying to make sure, I got to make sure my people respect me more. I say, you got it backwards. You got to figure out how to get your people to respect themselves more. Then you're going to start tapping into a new level. The scoreboard is a lagging indicator. It is not a leading indicator. It is an effect. It is not the cause. It's the fruit. It is not the root. And when I deal with leaders who understand that, they will have consistent progress going up. When they look at the members of their team, they don't wonder, oh, are we just winning? They also wonder, are my people growing? Are they getting better? Are they growing in all kinds of ways? I'm telling you right now, it is hard to leave a coach. It is hard to leave a leader who helps you grow personally. This whole issue about engagement, you want to solve engagement? Get leaders serious about their people's individual and personal growth. You will see the most engaged group of employees you will have ever seen. Those are the kind of teams nobody wants to play. People don't quit jobs, they quit bosses. You give me a good boss, oh. And what makes them a good boss? They sincerely want my growth to happen. Don't mean they're always saying nice things to me. I don't need nice things. Nice things don't make me grow. I said all the time, cheerleaders are great, but I've yet to see them cause a team to win. No offense to anybody who's cheerleading here, okay? But coaching does. And sometimes coaching causes sparks to fly, as long as you're coaching from where their potential is. I will say it right now, there is a leader in here working with someone on your team. That individual on your team may be your top performer, but they are not maximizing their potential. And if you don't call them on that, their talent, the way we used to say it this way, too often we allow being good to get in the way of being great. We allow being good enough to get in the way of being great enough. Real leadership, when we start raising the bar to a level we haven't seen before, is when leaders are not satisfied, even with those who are doing good, because they realize their talent, they should be doing great. So let's coach them there. That's where we want to lead them. Now, I will be honest with you. It is hard as a leader, as a coach, to ask for something that you're not doing yourself. It is hard to ask for something that you're not practicing. It is hard to ask for something that you are not practicing. So the first filter, the first criteria before I ask for anything in terms of growth from my people, am I growing myself? What am I doing to get better? What am I doing to stretch myself? What am I doing to unleash more of the potential that I have? I'm telling you, this is next level. I want you to feel what it's like anytime you're about to take on something new. Why is that important? As great as your success currently is, it is now your comfort zone. That's not a bad thing, but it is now your comfort zone. And my question to you is, when's the last time you felt butterflies in your stomach? When's the last time you've been afraid? When's the last time you've been really nervous? When's the last time you had to really go, whew, okay, I'm gonna go for it. If it's been a long time, that means it's been far too long. The next opportunity, the next level of greatness you're gonna experience is when you personally are willing to also put yourself in position to be afraid, to be a little nervous. Man, that's exciting. Coming alive, not getting bored. And the reason why it's so significant, every single time you go to another level, look how many people are impacted when you do. It's not just about you. Leaders in this room, it's bigger than you. Look at the number of people you all touch. So every single time you move your own performance and become more effective, there are thousands of people positively impacted. So it's beyond just you. What I did not tell you is how to avoid uncertainty. I didn't tell you how to avoid failure, and I definitely didn't tell you how to avoid rejection. What I did was tell you how to avoid the fear of them. Because uncertainty, failure, and rejection go hand in hand with success. You all know that. So we're not talking about avoiding it, we're talking about confronting it. Hopefully this last story makes it plain. My rookie year when I was with the Jets, I'm a wide receiver. That's what I do. You guys see the size of my hands, and my job is to catch the ball. And as a wide receiver, our goal is not to get hit. But in order for me to get on the field, I had to play special teams, which meant I had to be on the kickoff team. And just so you know, that job isn't fun. Not only is it not fun, there's parts of the kickoff team that are now illegal. Unfortunately, just 20 years too late. So I was on the kickoff team, and I was called a flyer. And my job as a flyer is to run down the field as fast as possible and split something called a wedge. A wedge is comprised of guys who are usually too big to be linebackers, but too small to be linemen, where their necks and shoulders are all tied together, and they wrap their arms together like this and run straight ahead. My job was to split that. That's a dumb job. So as I'm running down the field as fast as possible, fortunately in this particular game, the first two, the ball went, in the end zone, another one went out of bounds. Unfortunately, in the fourth quarter, here goes the kickoff. I'm running down there, and unfortunately, the wedge is formed. I'm running right at the wedge. I look at the wedge. I sit there and think, do I go through this or do I go around it? Well, I think it was Stephen Covey who said win-win or no deal, right? So I ran straight to it, and I decided to make a left. I came around the wedge from behind, made the tackle, brought him down. It was awesome. I felt great about it. I got to the sideline. I high-fived my guys. Only problem was the tackle was made on the 40 instead of on the 20. They had a quarterback who was pretty good. I think his name was Dan Marino. Put the team in position. They kicked the field goal. We lose the game. Now, the New York media rips our coaches. They rip our quarterback. They rip all the main players until we get in the film room. My coach, who was the one who mentioned potential to me earlier, has the play on film. And he goes, guys, I want you just to watch this one play. At the very beginning of the film study, we didn't watch the first quarter, second, we went straight to this. I was like, oh man, they're gonna show my tackle. Ooh, I was off. What he did was he showed the whole team running down the field, and he says, I want you all to watch number 18, me. He says, I want you to watch what happens when one man decides to do his own thing instead of doing what needs to be done. I ran down there full speed. He goes, now you're about to see something you've never seen before. How one man can run that fast and turn at a 90-degree angle. That's literally impossible unless you're scared to death. That's what I did. I came around the back, he shows the tackle, he looks at me, he says, 18, if I could cut you right now, I would. This is what's crazy. He goes, our kicker hit somebody. Our kicker even hit somebody, and look at you. Do you know what I said in front of all my teammates? I said out loud, man, I'm a wide receiver. I shouldn't have been on the kickoff team anyways. Yeah, I know, I was stupid. First thing out of his mouth was this. He goes, man, if I could cut you right now, I would. He says, what you don't understand is that you are not a wide receiver, man. You're a New York Jet. You're a football player. And leaders do what needs to be done, not just what they want to do. He said, everybody did what they needed to do, but you ran around the wedge. That moment has changed my life in so many areas. Every time I walk down my hallway, and my 60-year-old daughter is in her room, and it's time for a real conversation, but instead of making a left into her room, I run around the wedge and keep walking straight. Every single time I don't have a performance management conversation with somebody on my team because I just don't want to hurt their feelings. So I let them continuously perform at a level that's beneath their potential. Guess what I'm doing? I'm running around the wedge. Every single time I don't confront an issue with my wife, knowing good and well it needs to be worked on, I run around the wedge. I'm not meant to run around the wedge. I'm meant to run through the wedge. Fear is going through the wedge gets us to where we want to go. Is this making some sense? My question to you is, what wedge do you need to run through? What conversation is necessary? Many times a leader's success is measured by the number of uncomfortable conversations they're willing to have, not comfortable ones. And so for you right now, what's the wedge that you need to run through? And here, think about this. At the level of success you're already having, and you keep identifying new wedges, oh my God, you will reach places the majority of the world have never arrived at. But it doesn't matter. Do not let fear create any wedge in your life or comfort in any wedge in your life. Go right through it. Last thought I want to leave with you. I want to thank every single one of you. I want to thank you for what you do. I want to thank you for your level of success. But I also tell you, please, you've already done it, but please leave this place better than you found it. Pour everything that you have in you, please pour it into someone else so they can keep this thing going. God bless you. Thank you all so much.